Ancient scrolls that were buried in volcanic ash during the eruption of Mount Vesuvius are now being deciphered 2,000 years later, thanks in part to artificial intelligence. For centuries, these fractured remnants from bygone civilizations have whispered through time. Now a new era of next-level technology, with the help of AI, is bringing them into the light. AI is revealing hidden words in dusty tomes, resurrecting faint inscriptions, and breathing life into silent scripts. So there's evidence of movements of the hand, sometimes with damage to the nails and the music fingertips. But are we unlocking vital wisdom or awakening something far more unsettling? The Indus Valley script, one of the biggest mysteries of the ancient world, comes from the highly advanced civilization that once thrived in the Indus Valley. Located in what is now Pakistan and northwest India, these people built impressive, well-planned cities, such as Mohenjo-daro and Harappa over 4,000 years ago. They had organized street grids, sophisticated drainage systems, and evidence of extensive trade with neighboring regions. But there's one critical aspect we still don't fully understand: their script. Countless small seal pottery shards and baked clay tablets show a series of symbols that seem to represent words or ideas. Often the inscriptions are short, just a handful of characters. Scholars have spent decades trying to crack this code, debating whether it represents a full-fledged written language, a kind of proto-script for record-keeping, or a combination of both. Without a Rosetta Stone equivalent, traditional approaches have hit a wall. Thankfully, researchers have recently applied computational methods to identify repeating patterns within the script. This has revealed a certain level of structure, hinting at rules for how the symbols combine. While still far from fully deciphered, these small breakthroughs suggest the Indus people used a consistent system, possibly to track goods, record religious practices, or formalize social contracts. The Nazca lines stretch across the dusty plains of southern Peru. The Nazca lines are monumental drawings carved directly into the desert floor. From ground level, they may look like endless shallow trenches, but seen from above, they reveal intricate outlines of animals, plants, and geometric shapes, created between roughly 500 BC and 500 AD. These geoglyphs have intrigued explorers, archaeologists, and tourists for generations. One of the most striking things about the Nazca lines is just how many there are. Hundreds of massive shapes, some stretching across great distances. Figures like the hummingbird, the spider, and the monkey are iconic examples. While the precise reasons behind their creation are still hotly debated, many experts propose that these immense designs had religious or ceremonial significance. They might have been used in rituals aimed at appealing to deities for rain or abundant harvests. As water was precious in the arid Nazca region until relatively recently, our knowledge of the lines relied chiefly on aerial surveys and traditional fieldwork. These days, short mentions of technology come in the form of drones and high-resolution imaging, which help reveal previously unknown shapes or faint lines. The more we discover, the more we appreciate how such a large-scale project was accomplished by an ancient community without modern surveying tools. Traces of offerings near some lines suggest a strong ritualistic element, giving us a glimpse into the spiritual life of the Nazca people. The ice mummy of the Andes. High in the Peruvian and Argentinian Andes, researchers have made several discoveries of Inca mummies that were left on mountain peaks as part of sacred rituals. One of the most famous is the Ice Maiden, a young girl whose body was found in remarkable condition. Thanks to the sub-zero temperatures, her frozen state preserved her hair, clothing, and even many details of her internal organs. The story behind these mummies is linked to an Inca practice called capacocha, a ceremony often performed during important events or as an appeal to the gods. Children considered physically perfect and pure were chosen for these sacrifices, and the rituals typically took place atop steep, inhospitable peaks. Offerings of figurines, textiles, and other valuable items accompanied them. While it can be unsettling to think about, these sacrifices played a serious role in Inca religious beliefs, possibly ensuring the well-being of the empire or the fertility of the land. Through minimal high-tech methods like careful imaging and light scanning inside labs, scientists can study these artifacts and remains without causing damage. The girl's final meal, revealed through analysis of stomach contents, provided a glimpse into what high-status individuals in the Inca Empire might eat. Her elaborate clothing and headgear point to the significance of her role. These frozen altars on the mountaintops serve as poignant memorials to a culture that believed life and death were deeply intertwined with the forces of nature and the divine. The Scrolls of Herculaneum. In 79 AD, Mount Vuvius erupted and infamously buried the cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum under tons of volcanic ash. While Pompeii is often in the spotlight, Herculaneum contained a unique treasure. The Villa of the Poppy, home to hundreds, maybe thousands, of delicate scrolls. Unlike typical papyrus documents, these were partially burned and carbonized by the intense heat. For centuries, scholars dreamed of reading them but dared not unroll them for fear they would crumble. These texts might hold invaluable insights into Roman literature and philosophy, potentially works lost to history. Many early attempts to open the scrolls ended in heartbreak. Fragile fragments disintegrated or turned to dust. Only in recent decades have researchers refined non-invasive techniques that can peek inside. A brief mention of technology. Advanced X-ray scanning combined with data analysis helps reveal faint traces of ink. So far, the small portions that have been read discuss philosophical concepts, including topics like pleasure, happiness, and scarcity. Some historians suggest they might be connected to the Epicurean philosopher Philodemus, or possibly other authors from around the same period. Each new fragment decoded feels like a conversation from 2,000 years ago. This direct link to ancient thinkers is a thrilling reminder that the world's knowledge can literally lie hidden in the ashes, waiting to be revived when we finally have the right tools and approach. Ötzi, the Iceman. In 1991, two hikers in the Ötztal Alps on the border between Austria and Italy made a discovery that would rewrite history books. They stumbled upon the frozen remains of a man who died over 5,000 years ago. Nicknamed Ötzi, this Iceman was so well preserved that his skin, clothing, and even internal organs offered a direct look into Copper Age life, unlike anything else. Ötzi's attire included a cloak, leggings, and shoes stuffed with grass for insulation. His toolkit contained a copper axe, a flint knife, and an unfinished bow. His possessions tell the story of a person skilled in survival tactics, comfortable with both agriculture and music hunting. Intriguingly, evidence suggests a violent end. He had an arrowhead lodged in his shoulder and a serious cut on one hand, leading researchers to theorize he was attacked and fled to the mountains, possibly succumbing to cold or blood loss. A brief bit of scientific support, including minimal scans of his organs, revealed detail about his last meal, ibex meat and grains, and certain health conditions like lactose intolerance. His many tattoos placed near joints suffering from stress or ailment hint at a form of prehistoric therapy or ritual marking. Ötzi's tale resonates deeply because it links us to a single individual from a world that predates the pyramids, reminding us how ancient human stories can survive right beneath our feet, or in this case, in glacial ice. Pompeii's ancient fast food joints. When we think of Pompeii, we often imagine plaster casts of its inhabitants and fresco-covered villas. But one of the more light-hearted findings is that the city had a robust culture of fast food establishments known as thermopolia. Ancient Romans loved these little shops, which featured colorful counters with earthenware jars, dolia, set into them, offering hot meals to go. Much of the population lived in cramped homes without full kitchens, so grabbing a bite at a thermopolium was convenient. Paintings on the counters often depicted animals or ingredients, hinting at what might have been on the menu. Perhaps stews, salted fish, spiced wine, or lentils. One spot unearthed only recently had a counter decorated with bright murals of a dog, some poultry, and a sea nymph, providing an artistic flair to the ancient dining experience. Although the modern contribution is limited, accelerated methods like precise ground mapping and short-range scans help locate these stores and identify leftover food remnants. Analysis of residue in the jars and the floors around them has revealed everything from remnants of snails to the genetic markers of wine grapes. This all paints a lively picture of everyday life where people juggled errands, socialized, and grabbed quick meals in much the same way that we do centuries later. Mayan glyphs. The ancient Maya civilization left behind stunning architecture, from towering pyramids to ornate palaces. But perhaps one of their most remarkable achievements was their system of writing. Preserved on stelae, stone monuments, pottery, and surviving bark paper codices, these glyphs combined phonetic and logographic elements, making them visually intricate and, for a long time, incredibly puzzling. For centuries, explorers and scholars admired the swirling lines and shapes etched into stone but had little clue how to read them. Slowly, through the work of dedicated epigraphers, certain signs were matched to Mayan words and sounds. Large breakthroughs came in the mid-20th century, especially with the realization that glyph blocks often represented syllables rather than single letters. This knowledge illuminated the rich tapestry of Mayan history. Accounts of battles, treaties, dynastic growth, and tributary lists sprang to life. Today, only a mention of digital tools. Extensive databases help cross-reference thousands of known inscriptions, speeding up transcription and comparison. The Maya recorded their mythology, significant historical events, and even astronomical observations in these symbols. Whether carved into temple doorways or carefully drawn on folded bark codices, most glyphs convey a refined world of spiritual beliefs and royal lineages. Understanding them has drastically changed our view of the Maya, showing they weren't just stargazers with fancy calendars, but also a highly literate civilization that documented everything from daily affairs to epic cosmic cycles. The Nebra sky disk, a bronze disk about a foot in diameter, decorated with gold. Text ends here. If you want to continue from the Nebra sky disk, let me know. Symbols of the sun, moon, and stars. Symbols of the sun, moon, and stars might just be one of the oldest concrete representations of the night sky. Known as the Nebra sky disk, it was discovered in Germany and is believed to date back around 3,600 years. The meticulously placed gold inlays form a cluster of stars, possibly representing the Pleiades, and arcs on the edge might correspond to seasonal horizons for sunrise and sunset. Such advanced astronomical awareness for that time hints that Bronze Age societies were more attuned to celestial cycles than previously thought. They could have used this disk to chart planting or harvest times, or it may have held religious significance, representing a heavenly order or cosmic unity. Surrounding finds such as bronze swords and bracelets suggest the disk was ritually deposited as part of some kind of offering. While researchers once questioned the disk's authenticity, thorough studies of the corrosion and soil composition confirmed its Bronze Age origin. Specialized imaging provides close-up looks at the hammered metal and the gold's attachment points, revealing multiple phases of adjustment to the design over time. As a precious artifact that merges art, religion, and astronomy, the Nebra sky disk connects the human fascination with the cosmos to a tangible object, bridging the gap between mythic interpretations of the night sky and the scientific curiosity we still share today. Austrian Roman gladiator school gladiators typically call to mind the grandeur of Rome or big amphitheaters like the Colosseum, but the Roman Empire stretched far across Europe. And so did the demand for thrilling arena entertainment. Near the ancient city of Carnuntum in Austria, archaeologists uncovered traces of a gladiator training school, Illutus. This was a surprising revelation, showing that these fighters were valued not just in Italy, but also on the empire's distant frontiers. The complex, which includes courtyards, sleeping cells, and practice areas, hints that gladiators trained intensively, honing their combat skills in a disciplined regimen. They would have learned various fighting styles, some specialized in net and trident tactics, others in heavy swords and shields. Evidence suggests these men lived in a communal setting, with a schedule of daily drills and strict rules, making it more like a paramilitary camp than a ragtag group of showmen. Although a brief note of newfound data comes via geophysical surveys, the full story of daily life emerges from the site's layout and artifacts, personal items, cooking implements, and remains of protective gear. The school served as a center for an entertainment culture that spread across the empire's provinces. Perhaps local governors and wealthy officials wanted to emulate Rome's grand spectacles. The Austrian Roman gladiator school underscores how deeply Roman customs and pastimes permeated distant territories, leaving behind footprints of excitement and ambition far from the heart of the empire. Viking longships. Few images capture the spirit of the Viking Age like a long ship slicing through cold northern waters. These sleek vessels, with their overlapping wooden planks, shallow drafts, and striking proud designs, enabled Vikings to travel vast distances at a time when most Europeans rarely ventured beyond their own villages. From Scandinavia, they raided or settled as far as modern-day Russia, the British Isles, and parts of the North Atlantic. Long ships were technological marvels for their day, They combined speed, agility, and versatility, allowing seafarers to navigate both rough oceans and shallow rivers. This advantage led to a long period of exploration, trade, and sometimes violent raids. Viking crews had a reputation for fearlessness, but they were also skilled navigators, guided by the sun, stars, and possibly sunstones that helped them plot courses even on cloudy days. Because the Vikings often buried high-ranking individuals with their boats, shipgraves have been discovered in fields and mounds. Scans of farmland sometimes pinpoint the faint outlines of wooden hulls. Excavations bring these artifacts to light, revealing not only the construction methods but also glimpses of daily life. Cooking pots, weapons, and even the personal ornaments of those on board. Each new longship find expands our appreciation for a culture that thrived on exploration, forging links across remote regions of the world long before many others dared to set sail. Tutankhamun's meteorite dagger. Among the dazzling treasures found in the tomb of the young Egyptian king Tutankhamun lies a blade far more exotic than it first appears. An iron dagger that tests revealed to be forged from meteoritic material. During King Tut's 14th century BC reign, iron was scarce in Egypt, as the widespread Iron Age had not yet begun. That alone makes an iron dagger incredibly special. Adding the cosmic twist, this iron has a high nickel content, matching known meteorites. The piece itself is masterfully crafted with a gold hilt and a patterned blade that suggests advanced metalworking. Its presence in Tutankhamun's tomb is no accident. The Egyptians regarded iron that fell from the sky as a precious gift from the gods. Ancient texts even have a word for it that translates roughly to metal of heaven. Owning such an artifact would have conferred spiritual significance, linking the king to divine forces beyond the earth. Though most of what we know about the dagger's construction comes from minimal scientific analysis, like X-ray fluorescence that confirms meteoritic origins, the bigger narrative is about how the cosmos fed into early religious and cultural beliefs. Tutankhamun, although only a teenager at his death, was buried with an item that symbolized both earthly kingship and celestial power, embodying a bond between mortal rulership and the broader universe. Dwarka, often hailed as the fabled city of Lord Krishna in ancient Hindu texts, has teased scholars for centuries. Legends describe it as a magnificent place that sank beneath the waves after Krishna's departure. While some believe this tale was purely myth, evidence of underwater structures off the coast of modern Dwarka in Gujarat suggests there may be some historical kernel. Marine archaeologists exploring the area noticed stone blocks, possible fortifications, and remains of walls under the Arabian Sea. Artifacts including pottery and anchors seem consistent with an ancient urban settlement. Though the site's exact age is debated, carbon dating results imply a timeline overlapping with certain historical periods that might fit the era ascribed to Krishna's Dwarka in legend. Submersible cameras and sonar scans help map these submerged structures, offering a glimpse into what might have once been a thriving coastal city with spiritual and strategic importance. Ruins without extensive disruption. Each additional piece of data fans the flames of interest, blending mythological accounts with potential historical truths. Even if the city proves only loosely connected to the stories, it still paints a picture of a vibrant coastal community that met a watery end, showing how powerful nature can be. Dwarka remains a compelling puzzle where devotional narratives and archaeology intersect, prompting endless discussions about how ancient societies flourished along India's shores. Pompeii graffiti. Pompeii may be best known for its tragic demise under volcanic ash in 79 AD, but the city also offers an endearing record of everyday life through graffiti. Unlike official inscriptions honoring emperors or praising the gods, these scribbles range from love declarations to election notices and even mild insults. Essentially, they're ancient social media posts scrawled on walls for passers-by to see. The messages run the gamut, someone complaining about a stolen cloak, others praising the local wine shop, and plenty boasting about romantic conquests. There are also political endorsements urging voters to support specific candidates in local elections. These ephemeral markings show how lively Pompeii was, crowded with merchants, travelers, and families going about their daily routines. While volcanic ash froze the city in time, it also helped preserve these ephemeral notes. Over the years, archaeologists found many of them faint or partially eroded. advanced photography or scanning has helped in reading even the faintest words. Discovering lines like, "Celadus the Thrax gladiator is the heartthrob of all the girls," reveals the humor and passions wrapped into a city that might otherwise be overshadowed by the tragedy that befell it. In these simple notes, we witness the timeless desire to express opinions, flirt, or share daily complaints, proof that the spirit of everyday life can survive millennia if conditions are right. The Giza Pyramids. Nothing screams ancient grandeur. Standing on the outskirts of modern Cairo, the Great Pyramid built for Pharaoh Khufu around 4,500 years ago was the tallest human-made structure on Earth for nearly 4 millennia. Massive limestone and granite blocks, each weighing tons, were cut and fitted with remarkable precision, raising enduring questions. How did the Egyptians move such rocks, and what secrets lie within? 4 main chambers have been explored in the Great Pyramid, 2 near ground level, 1 central Queen's Chamber, and the King's Chamber near the top. A sloping corridor and various passageways connect them, lined with carefully placed stones. Many of the passages remain sealed or only partially examined. Myths speak of hidden chambers housing vast treasure, while some historical texts reference lost writings stored near pharaonic tombs. Scanning projects that measure subtle variations in density or temperature hint at possible hidden voids. These efforts sparked the occasional headline about likely undiscovered corridors. Yet beyond the hype, the real wonder is how a Bronze Age society organized labor, logistics, and architectural design on such a colossal scale. Even if new hidden spaces prove modest, they'll add fragments to the mosaic of knowledge about how ancient Egypt's monarchy and religious beliefs shaped one of humanity's most iconic monuments. The Sutton Hoo Ship Burial. On an English estate known as Sutton Hoo, an amateur archaeologist stumbled upon a burial mound that would become one of Britain's most significant early medieval finds. Although the wooden ship itself had decayed, its outline remained in the soil, revealing a massive vessel that once belonged to a high-status Anglo-Saxon individual, often hypothesized to be King Redwald. Buried within were lavish grave goods, weapons, helmets, jewelry, and silverware sourced from near and far. The star attraction is the iconic face mask, reconstructed from shattered fragments into an elaborate helmet with a fearsome visage. Patterned with delicate animal motifs and garnet inlays, it exemplifies the fusion of warfare and artistry characteristic of early medieval Europe. Other items, like Byzantine bowls or gold belt buckles, point to trade or diplomatic contacts that stretched across continents, indicating a surprising level of connectivity in what some might label the Dark Ages. Recent re-evaluation with minimal scanning tools has refined the burial's layout and identified subtle clues about the rituals performed there. Sutton Hoo changed how historians see the 7th century, highlighting a vibrant, cultured society that was neither fully pagan nor completely Christian, but a blend in transition. This burial site reveals how an elite sought to sail into the afterlife armed with gold, silver, and the proud symbols of a burgeoning Anglo-Saxon identity. Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, a young Bedouin shepherd exploring the crags near the Dead Sea entered a cave and discovered a set of ancient manuscripts. Little did he know he'd stumbled upon one of the most important finds in biblical archaeology, the Dead Sea Scrolls, dating back to roughly the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD. These texts include portions of the Hebrew Bible, apocryphal works, and community documents. They shed light on the religious climate of Second Temple Judaism and provide context for the environment in which early Christianity emerged. Stored in clay jars and preserved by the region's arid climate, many scrolls remained remarkably intact for about 2 millennia. The Qumran caves yielded texts in Hebrew, Aramaic, and even Greek. Among the scrolls is the War Scroll, depicting a cosmic battle between the sons of light and the sons of darkness, reflecting apocalyptic expectations of the time. Another famous scroll is the Isaiah Scroll, which matches closely with later copies of the Book of Isaiah, affirming the relative stability of biblical texts. While much translation work was done manually by dedicated scholars, a minor technological boost includes multispectral imaging to highlight faded writing invisible to the naked eye. By understanding these scrolls, we glimpse the theology, law, and community rules that shaped the period's spiritual landscape. They were a vivid reminder of how complex and multifaceted Jewish thought was, and how religious communities sought to interpret their chaotic world. The Oxus Treasure. Unearthed in the late 19th century near the Oxus River, modern-day Amu Darya, the Oxus treasure is a remarkable hoard of gold and silver artifacts, likely linked to the Achaemenid Persian Empire or local cultures in Central Asia. Consisting of about 180 items, it includes intricately worked bracelets, plaques, small figurines, and coins that display an elegant fusion of Persian, Greek, and local artistic styles. Many of the objects reflect religious or courtly themes, featuring images of gods, warriors, and animals. A few especially notable pieces are the gold scabbard fittings and small model chariots, which showcase advanced metalwork techniques. Artisans hammered, cast, and inlaid precious metals with skillful precision. This variety highlights the cross-cultural interactions that thrived along the Silk Road and other trade arteries crisscrossing the region. Though the exact find spot isn't precisely documented, some of the items may have been scattered following their initial discovery. What remains in collections worldwide allows experts to piece together a fragment of Central Asia's past. Minimal lab tools, such as portable X-ray fluorescence, verify the metals and trace their sources, indicating distant supply lines. In a broader sense, the Oxus treasure stands as a testament to the richness of ancient Central Asian societies, which were far from being mere frontier zones. Instead, they were vibrant crossroads where art and ideas merged into exquisite expressions of culture and craft. The Siberian unicorn. The phrase Siberian unicorn might evoke images of a magical horse with a single spiraling horn, but the real creature was a colossal species of rhinoceros known as Elasmotherium sibericum. Fossils show it possessed a large horn on its forehead and roamed the grasslands of Eurasia. For a long time, scientists believed this giant rhino species went extinct over 100,000 years ago, never sharing the landscape with modern humans. That all changed when a well-preserved skull was found in Kazakhstan. Tests revealed it was only around 29,000 years old, meaning humans were indeed on the planet at the same time as this formidable beast. Standing over 6 feet tall at the shoulder and possibly weighing up to several tons, the Siberian unicorn would have been an impressive sight, though likely less magical and more imposing. What researchers glean about its diet or habitat comes from the shape of its teeth and wear patterns on the enamel, though a small dose of radiocarbon dating helps refine its extinction timeline. The bigger story here is how the presence of a once mythic-sounding rhino challenges prior concepts of Ice Age megafauna distribution. It is a reminder that folklore about creatures with single horns might be rooted in fleeting encounters with real animals, a testament to the way natural wonders can spark legends that echo through time.